Yeah, you got a good eye. That's a quick ball there. Just a bit of crinkling material there. Hey. First time. I thought you looked a little bit new. Welcome to the Pokemon Black Market. Can I interest you in one of my Pokemon plushies? I thought you looked like someone with taste. Well, I don't actually have real Pokemon. That's a couple stalls down, but I have even better, a non-real and low maintenance Pokemon plush. These Pokemon plushes don't require pesky things like food, nourishment, love, care, anything like that. They just require you to buy one from me tonight. What do you say? Let me show you at least what I have. These are the best that money can buy, and the most illegal, obviously. So keep your mouth shut if you don't mind. Thank you. All right. Well, the first thing I have, if you are a little bit light in the wallet, I have a nice Clefable doll here. Clefable is one of the most sought-after Pokemon in the R&R region. Trust me, even in the Kanto Mount Moon area, it's fabled that you can even end up with a Clefairy of your own if you are in the top 5% or something like that, give or take. But this is a bit cheaper. Price, well, why don't you just tell me what you think the price might be on a Clefable doll like this, and we'll start from there. 5 gold? Well, I mean, if you would like me to let it go for just an absolute steal, then maybe 5 gold. I thought maybe more like 10. Too much for the size. Let me show you what else I have. If you would like to go for a bit more of a medium size, then what about a nice Slowpoke doll here? A bit more stiff and firm in the plushy genre, but the Slowpoke is, I think, expertly staged to represent that curled Slowpoke tail. Of course, I can cut that tail off for you if you'd like it to remind you of our tasty dish a few stalls down. Of course, that is for VIP guests. The eyes have a nice embroidery and are a bit stiffer than the rest of the plush. You can take a listen to that. The embroidery goes around the eye itself, and it has a bit more of a taut fabric to give it a more bright and firm feeling. We have the nice firm ears here, as you can hear. It's quite nice, isn't it? Yes, it is. And then the just a general plush, or plushiness as I like to say, of the rest of the body. What do you think? Alright, not quite sold yet. Well then, I'm sure your eyes have been drawn to these wonderful plushes here. I have several that I think you might be interested in. These are the fabled sleeping plushies. As you can see, they do seem to mirror what one of these Pokemon would look like if they are fast asleep. Sometimes so real that you might ask yourself if it's indeed a real Pokemon. Let's start with the Flareon. The Flareon has a nice side sleeping position. It has 2 really nice ears, and you can hear just a bit of crinkling material there inside each of those ears, and it's supported by a stiffer portion at the base of the ear to keep it from bending too easily. But that crinkling of the ears is quite nice and gives it just a bit of comfort if you want to kind of massage those ears as you sleep. We also have some nice tuft fur there, as you can see. Don't hesitate to feel there. It's quite plush, soft. And then we have the traditional fur on the head and body, and of course the base of the ears, the tail to simulate Flareon's fiery nature is the same material as the forehead and neck. So if Flareon is something that you are a big fan of, maybe that's something you would like. We do have this nice Squirtle, and what really sets Squirtle apart is the embroidery here on the outline and the separation of the portions of its shell, which give it a nice tactile addition to its design. We have a nice stiff border of that shell to keep everything compact. We have the curled tail, as well as the traditional blue color and brown of the shell. It's a really nice plush. I saw you eyeing this Pikachu. Pikachu is one of the more popular Pokemon. What really sets this apart, it's primarily yellow, but we do have a nice tail which is attached to the body, so it lays nicely on the back, and it is filled with, I'm sure as you can hear, this stiff material that helps it keep its shape and doesn't really have as much of the crinkling material as your Flareon, but I think you'll still find it enjoyable. On the cheeks we have, similar to that Slowpoke eye, we have a nice embroidery there around those cheeks and gives just a bit stiffer of material there in that area. So if Pikachu is something that you enjoy, that might be your taste. And we have, of course, a Charmander here. The Charmander is pretty basic. It has the closed eyes, not a lot of tactile portions. We do have a bit of stiffer embroidery there on the tail for that flame. And you're not interested at the moment? Alright, well, go ahead and move along and stop wasting my time. Let me go ahead and get this set up for someone who I am not so displeased in serving in Scrim. Hey, you. Take a look at the... Hey, you. Are you just gonna walk by my stall here without at least taking a look at what I got? Yeah. You like Pokemon, don't you? I can tell you do. You've got some Pokeballs there on your belt. You like strong Pokemon, rare, anything like that? Yeah, I thought you might. Well, why don't you step on up and see what I got? What are you looking for? What kind of Pokemon are you after? Alright. Looking for something with a little bit of bite, huh? Well, let's see here. That one might be just what the doctor ordered here. Do you know anything about Scyther? Yeah, it's a bug flying type. Pretty mean streak on it, usually. Yeah, you've heard of it. Great. Well, Scyther's a pretty devastating Pokemon if you trained right, and assuming the trainer has the right skill to train it. Does that sound like you? You already got a bug type, of course you do. Alright, well, What else? You looking for something with a little bit of bite? You've got a bug type already. What else? Give me something here. Okay, well, you're looking for something that can maybe hold up against water types. Alright. Okay, well, this one. So you're looking for something that's good against water type and it's got some bite to it, obviously. So this, I think, is going to do the trick. Don't mind the dent there. All these Pokeballs, actually, it's better off. You're new around here. It's better off if we don't do any questions. So let's just keep that to a minimum. These are well tested Pokemon. How about that? This is what we call a Manectric. Yeah, never heard of it. Perfect. That's what I like to hear. The Manectric is, let's talk about bite. Powerful. It's got a nice, well, actually, it might even be able to learn the move bite. Well, that's for you to find out. But more importantly, it's a electric type, so it's going to do really well against those water types. And it's quick too, yeah. Yeah, I know people like you like to try to get the first hit, get the surprise attack. I'm a big fan of that method as well. That's how I win most of my battles, of course. What do you think? Manectric suits your needs or not? Yeah, I'll set that one to the side. Not a problem. Alright, what else are you looking for? No one comes to the black market and just buys one Pokemon. That I know for sure. You looking for anything, hard to get, or, Manectric's great, but you got any tastes that are a little bit more, exotic? Something more expensive, usually. What do you got? Alright, there we go. Now we're talking. You're looking for something that will evolve via trade, meaning you will get an evolution when you receive the trade. I got something you're really going to like, and just because I like you, this one's fresh in, still in the package. Yeah, you got a good eye. That's a quick ball there. Meaning that the Pokemon in this ball is really good. Now you're just gonna have to take my word on that. We don't unwrap any of the Pokeballs until a purchase is made. You do understand, right? Alright, that's perfect. Well, this bubble wrapped quick ball is actually home to a powerful Graveler. Yeah, you've heard of a Graveler. Originating from the Kanto region, Graveler is well known to not only be a powerful rock type, but also evolve into Golem when traded. Yeah, well, I wouldn't use it against the water type. You know what? Better off actually you just decide what you're going to use and when you're going to use it. But Golem is a powerful rock type Pokemon, and it's a pretty great one. It's something that's really hard to get unless you're lucky enough, like you, to stumble upon a trade opportunity wherein you receive a Graveler. Let's say you catch a Geodude and evolve it into a Graveler and you want to get a Golem. Well, now you've got to rely on trading some random or maybe a friend and them receiving a Graveler that evolves into a Golem when they receive your Pokemon, and you have to hope that they trade it back, which can be a little bit tricky since Golem is so great that you better find somebody you trust, and lucky for you, you already have me. So I give this to you, and we can just initiate a little bit of a trade over there, and you'll get your Graveler. So not only do you get to pay for the Graveler in this quick ball, but you also get to trade us a Pokemon with it. So it's a bit of a, win-win for us. What do you think? Not what you are looking for. Alright, well, you are the champion of wasting my time, it looks like. Unless you do buy that Manectric, then we'll see. What else can I do for you? Alright, so you are looking for something, a little bit of a showpiece, huh? Alright, maybe not super adept in battle, maybe not even strong, not even desirable, just something that looks good, right? Have I shown you my super rare Magikarp? And yeah, it's in a golden. Okay, you don't need a Magikarp. Well, shoot. All right. Well, let's see. Maybe if we've got some of. No, that one already was sold. Do you like flying type Pokemon? Alright, you've already got a flying type. You're making this easy, aren't you? Oh, what about fairy type Pokemon? No. Alright, no fairy type Pokemon. Do you like ice? Ice type? I could get a nice combination with water here if you do like a Cloyster. No Cloyster, alright. Well, give me some other kind of additional information here so I'm not just guessing over and over. Okay, so you're looking for a little bit of a showpiece, something colorful. Actually, I do have a nice Blossom here. Yeah, very colorful, always flashy, and something that catches your eye. It'd be great in a contest if that sort of thing is something that you're interested in. If you're not interested in contests, then, well, it still will look nice. The reason that it might not actually be that great for battling is it has absolutely the worst nature that it could, and its abilities just aren't up to par. So this is primarily and almost purely a Pokemon that you want to just show off and really leave the battling for someone else, or maybe some of your other Pokemon. Yeah, that's right, unless you want to do some of the contest, which in that case, this Pokemon is basically a sure win. What's that? It sounds like there's just rocks in here, and don't worry about that. All of these Pokemon come guaranteed and are fully refundable if you return the previous, or I guess the following night. It's most of the time a one-night event, but for this time we are doing a follow-up evening tomorrow. So if you do have any kind of, complaints about any of your purchases, just come to this exact spot tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll find us. You'll take it. All right. Perfect. Okay. Would you like the insurance on this Pokemon? Why would you need that with the refund possible? Well, in case you maybe have an issue but don't want to fully refund, you could then get an insurance payout or something like that. No? Okay, not at this time. All right. Well, so we're going to go with the Manectric and the Blossom. Yeah, it's just how the Blossom sounds. All right, well, that's going to be 25 gold for the Manectric, and since it's in the luxury ball and it's a showpiece, it's going to be 50 gold for the Blossom. All right, excellent. Thank you. Alright, well, you can go ahead and be on your way. Like I said, if you have any complaints, try to find us tomorrow. Alright. Hey, I see that you might look like you're leaving. You like Pokemon cards, don't you? I thought you might. Yeah, just, to commemorate the great Pokemon of, the R&R region, and maybe even some of the Pokemon cards that you look like you have with you on your belt there. What do you say? I've got a few rare ones left over from tonight's sale. Want to see them? Alright, perfect. Hold tight because I know you're going to like these. First up, now they're in the cases, so if you do want to get them out and, see them closer up, you're going to have to pay a little bit up front, but for now I can just show you them in their hard case. I have a nice Mewtwo. What do you think of that? Yeah, that Mewtwo is beautiful. Yeah, this is a base set 2 Mewtwo. It is to celebrate one of the coolest Pokemon out there. Yeah, I've never seen one myself. Yeah, there were those rumors that the Kanto Team Rocket branch had, like cloned Mewtwo and, kind of was going to use it for world domination and all that. That is just complete disinformation, and don't worry about that. I saw it myself that it was false, so you can go ahead and spread the word that rumor's been put to rest, so don't worry about that. But this card is very real. It's, of course, just mint condition, and it's quite expensive, but if you do like Mewtwo or just rare Pokemon cards in general, well, I don't think you're going to want to pass this one up. Care to see more? I'll just set that one to the side. I think we'll be coming back to that one. And speaking of that pesky cloning rumor, this is kind of, well, some fools out there built a whole, conspiracy around it and decided to run with the idea that a Mew fossil had been found and resurrected. And this ancient Mew card is to commemorate that silly rumor, but it is quite a cool card. Check out the back there. Yeah, that's nice. You haven't seen anything like that before, have you? Have you? Okay, you haven't. Perfect. Well, now you have, and I don't think you're going to want to let this one slip by because this is one of a kind, my friend. So, set it to the side. That's what I like to hear. Next, just a classic, but a good one. We have a fossil set. Moltres. You like legendary Pokemon? I know you do because you had me set aside the Mew and Mewtwo there, but the Moltres is a little bit more of a traditional Kanto. Once again, I don't know what's the deal with all these Kanto cards, but it's just, collector like me, you just get what you get, and lucky for you, I've got the best tonight. So this fiery bird here is one of a kind, and I think this is actually the only card they ever made specifically of Moltres. So if you are a fan of good Pokemon and Moltres in particular, then you're going to want to go ahead and get your hands on this one. Not now, you sure? Okay. Well, since I see that maybe your enthusiasm for the original, traditional types of cards have begun to run dry, I have a few non-traditional cards here. Yeah, these are really cool. Check this out. So, if you move that card around, it actually evolves back and forth. This is the Machoke and Machop variant. It's pretty cool. It's got a little bit of a texture there to the front. As you can see, it's just really cool. I have a few here that I think you would really like. So, what do you think? Oh, this one? Yeah, this is actually the Sandshrew variant there. Equally as cool. Sandshrew to Sandslash. So I know these are something that collectors are always on and on about. So if you're into the resale market at all, these are fantastic. And I've got one more here. It's obviously a group price, so you really can only buy them if you buy all three. But this is the Squirtle to the War Turtle card, and I'm trying to kind of move it around and so that you can see the evolution. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky, but yeah. You like these? I'll give you a good price. All right, perfect. So can we lock you in for those three and the Mew and Mewtwo? All right. Well, we've got 30 gold for the three. Go ahead and start getting that gold out right now. And we've got 75 gold for the Mew, and we've got 75 gold for the Mewtwo. Sound good? Let's see the gold. All right, and there we are. Thank you very much. And I'm actually out of cards, so except my Moltres. So, yeah, we'll see you around.